All right, everyone. We're so excited. This is our first time to do an on-air broadcast. So we can start doing these. We do weekly opportunity meetings in our home pretty much every single week. And lately, since launch of AERIS, it's been 2 or 3 times a week. So it's been kind of exciting. So we thought today, since we had such a special guest, Dr. Fred Templaman in the house, the world's leading authority on the mangosteen fruit, as well as a 20-year practicing physician in both the United States and Canada, board certified. So pretty special to have him here. So we thought we shouldn't keep him just to our Utah selves. So we thought we'd share a little bit of Dr. Templeman with everybody else. So I think everybody can see and hear great. That's awesome. I'm going to give a quick little business overview of the XANGO opportunity, simply because a lot of people, we have a lot of guests that are tuning in here, a lot of guests here in the room. I want to thank you guys all for coming. I'm going to give you a short little business overview so that we can go into a longer product training, which we normally have to do. So thank you for your time. And I want to talk a little bit about this company behind this brand new product line. XANGO. It's a 13-year-old network marketing company which has accomplished some amazing things over the years. So we happen to beat a lot of records. We're the fastest company to do 100 million and 250 million a year in sales. By the way, 36 companies only have ever done in sales. And you know that less than 50 companies have ever made it to their 10th birthday. So I want you to know that really there's been tens of thousands of documented companies since the 1950s. That really reflects probably hundreds of thousands of companies, because most of them come and go before they ever even file their first corporate tax return or even get on the books for the records to even have a statistic. But I want you to know that this company is very special because they launched with this beverage called XANGO juice. And I know Dr. Templeman's going to talk a little bit about it, because the mangosteen has been proven to be the single most important botanical that's ever been discovered. It has more health benefits than any other botanical. And because of that, you'll find that it is the common denominator in every one of our products. And one of the best things that the mangosteen does is for the skin. And so it's certainly in our anti-aging cosmeceutical lines. But we've done $1 billion worth of sales with this one product. And you'll see lots of different bottles, because we just have fun like that. And we come out with different bottles and different themes and just share the XANGO love with everybody. And it's been really, really fun. Our 11th year, we got a patent on that product. And of course, our goal is to become the fastest company to ever do $1 billion a year in sales. And I think we'll do it, because the current record holder, 18 years, and we are well on our way to beat that record as well. So let's just look at some stuff. This is some of the product lines that XANGO offers. We started with that juice the first 5 years, but then we started to expand. We've got a lot of great products, and we are not going to talk to you about all of these products tonight, I promise. But I'm going to talk to you about just a couple of them, because I want you to know kind of what's been happening the last couple of years. We launched this limitless product about 2 years ago, and a lot of our younger generation started marketing it as a healthy alternative to energy drinks. And that's because they're the largest consumer of that market. And so by being able to drink something that's very healthy, and simply by educating people that this is the alternative, this is what's out there. If you want an energy drink, you are getting hundreds and hundreds of calories. You got to learn to be a label reader, because, for example, a 32-ounce can of Monster has 4 servings. So it might say 100 calories, but that's per serving, 4 servings per can. It's 400 and over 108 grams of sugar. And of course, that is the deadliest thing that we can do to our bodies today is sugar. And Dr. Templeman, I'm sure, will reference that. But we just have to educate people and tell them there's a healthier alternative. And because of this product line, this younger generation, the business has been as simple as drinking and sharing the products with others. They started a movement called MB30. Now, it stands for Millionaire by 30 or Mentoring by 30. And it doesn't even matter if it's by 30, but the fact of the matter is this generation is finally in a place where younger generations have never been hurting like they are today. In the past, they could go out and conquer the world as soon as they turned 18 years old and got out of school. And today, even after a 4-year college degree, if they're able to do that, they have to, the average millennial goes back home to live with mom and dad for 2 years before they're able to get a job to support themselves. So that's the world that we live in today. We offer solutions to that financially and in products. We actually have a couple of other products we came out with, Ignite and Reload. Actually originally developed as pre and post workout products, because the Ignite's a vasodilator, it gets the heart pumping. We all need that though every day. It's good for our cardiovascular health. So we all drink this product. And our Reload, which is an anti-aging product, because it helps rebuild the muscles and helps rehydrate the cells. So post-workout product is great, but right before bed, we'll wake up feeling fantastic the next day. And we market it with trying your best day yet. So for all of our brand new guests here today, they're back there, and Herb and I will let you hand those out to people. Put your hand up, and we will give you a free sample of your best day yet. And those of you who invited these guests, make sure that you plug them into your My XANGO Builder and your Get Amped app. And that way, tomorrow morning, you will be so impressed. You'll get a text in the morning reminding you to take your Ignite. It comes from the app, but you'll be impressed that, wow, they followed up with me. We have a lot of great tools to help us with stuff like that. And we have systems around it. We have these packs that you can get these products in the containers like you're looking at right now, so that you can put them together and share them. Invite people to have their best day yet, because if you let people sample our products, it's just a numbers game. Some of those people are going to love them, and some of them are going to want to share them with others, and some will want to go out and build substantial residual income businesses. So we have this power of 3 behind it with a plan, and we'll teach you all the steps on how to be successful every Thursday night at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. XANGO Corporate does a training, and so you'll be able to just plug right into that, and you'll be able to learn everything about our products and our compensation plan, how to sample, how to invite, how to follow up, the system, and all of that. But we're here tonight to talk about what I believe is the next billion-dollar brand with XANGO, and that's the XANGO AERIS line that was just launched at convention. I'm so excited about this product. I was blessed to be part of a group that got to test market a little bit early. We had to sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. I kept it, but my face did not. And so a lot of people started asking, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And I was not even allowed to confirm that there was ever even anything coming, but they were all like, come on, I know. I'm like, but I want you to know that now that everyone has been using this product line has been experiencing some pretty dramatic results. So I'm going to just quickly go over the products, and Dr. Templaman's going to tell us how they work and all of that. We've got a marine collagen. I'll let him tell you all about it. We have an instant eye gel, which instantly gives you results. Now here's what's sexy and exciting to me about this, is there's other companies out there with products that give you instant results, but they have toxic ingredients that actually damage the skin. The longer you use them, the worse your skin is. Whereas ours, the longer you use it, the more permanent, long-lasting the results are, and the better for you it is. So that's what XANGO is all about. And this eye renewal concentrate, what to expect. I'm going to go through this quick because he's got the same slides. You're going to get benefits, fine lines, wrinkles, under eye bags, deep wrinkles, and dark circles, and coloration, uneven texture, dryness. And again, I'm going through it quick for a reason. We have a pack that you can purchase, and a whole program if you want to build a business on it. So these products, they're about $350 to $500 if you were to go to the competition, try to get similar products. We put them together. If you bought them individually, it'd be $190. In a pack, $175. But here's the deal. If you become a wholesale customer, a preferred customer with XANGO, that means you sign up on our automatic delivery program, or you become a distributor for $135, including shipping. And this is huge. And then we have a system behind it. You can get 2 systems for $249. That's like $125 each. So if you're a 2-member household that wants to use the products, this is a good way even for customers. But if you're serious about building the business, by the way, if you retail one, if there's just one, you can get your products for less, right? Retail out a system for $175. We have a 5-pack system you can get involved in, and if you do that, then you can get your products down even for lower. If you retail 3 of them for only like $90, if you retail 4, you get your system for free and put some profit in your pocket. Our best one is our 10-pack system. Here's the deal. Anybody who comes in with a 10-pack with this company and shows they're serious about the business, as distributors, we earn commissions, and we'll invest that commission back to you to say as a thank you for believing in yourself and for trying it. And you know what? XANGO has a money-back guarantee for 30 days. If you came in with a 10-pack and you went out and tried the business and you shared with people and you did parties and you invited them here and they tried it and everything and you didn't like it and you weren't successful, by the end of the month you could just call back, and it's no risk. This business is no risk whatsoever. And so if you do that, you could actually, and I'll go through the numbers another time or later if you want, but you can put $500 profit in your pocket and get 3 systems for free, and that's a heck of a way to build the business. And now you got some product and inventory to share with other people. If you do that, these are some ranks. You can actually hit these ranks really quickly. 1 level of duplication. If I came in with a 10-pack and I got 4 people who came in with a 10-pack, I'd be a 5K. If I duplicated that, I could be a 20K. If I duplicated that, I could be a premier. So we have tools. My XANGO Builder gives us all kinds of stuff to share. It gives us websites and social media posts, presentations, videos, all kinds of stuff put together. Gives us some smartphone apps. So if you guys get a text tomorrow telling you to take Ignite, it came from that app right there. It's pretty exciting. It gives you 4 individual replicated websites. The AERIS just to promote AERIS, the MyMB30 just to promote Limitless, or the whole Pro line, the best day yet, or Ageless. And this is what your XANGO AERIS site would look like. You get your own little phone number and information up at the top, and if somebody clicked buy now, they would sign up as your customer or your distributor, or they could pay retail. And if they pay retail, you will get the retail bonus, the $40 difference on your commission check. Use network model, and I'm just going to go through these really super quickly. This is how we build our business. We simply share the products with other people. Our company pays us to use and share products with others. We can go into it another time. You can get compensation plan training. Make sure the person who invited you here gives you a link, and I'll give you that link at the end also, where you can go and get the details on the comp plan. I'm just trying to, but this is how it is. We're looking to find some people and partner with them. We're looking for 3 teams to get to this position called Premier, where the average income is about 5 figures a month. Now, you might want to make $500 a month more, and it might be $1,000 a month more. It might be $2,000. But if you want to earn 5 figures a month or more, we have a plan. We can show you what you need to do to accomplish that. And we have lots of people that have done that. So it's all based on you finding team members. These are people who want to share their products with others and helping them to create volume, which means sponsoring other distributors and customers themselves. And this is just a potential. Now, this is a lot, and you don't even have to look way down here. I just want to show you a couple of the levels. All it is about this is, it's all it means. When you sponsor distributors and they sponsor distributors, you can get up to 9 levels of referrals, which, by the way, is huge. Most companies that have a unilevel, 6 or 7 is a good plan. 8 is really, really good. 9 is few and far between. And the ones that do have deeper levels pay 1 or 2%. We pay 5% all the way to the 9th level. 2% on your own, it's leveraging, and 5% on all the referrals made through 9 levels of distributors in your organization. And if everybody just did 100 a month, this is just the math. 5 levels, that's what our 5Ks get. That's $1,800 plus a month. Plus their car bonuses, plus maybe they're qualifying for a Customer Connect and global bonus pools on the customer program, and just on the distributor income. Now, what I want to say is, this is not a reflection of what you're doing. This is a reflection of what would be earned if you had 9 levels of duplication. If you found 3 people that did 100 a month, who found 3 who did 100, who found 3 who did 100, that is the math. I'll show you the comp plan. You go through the training, but of course you're going to have to find the right 3. You're going to have to find the right 3. You're going to have to be the right 3 for the person who invited you, and you're going to have to find the right 3 if you expect any kind of duplication at all. Maybe it's going to take you 5, 10, 15, 20 to find 3. Here are some statistics. Over 140 families in XANGO have earned more than $1 million in commissions in their career, which is huge. You know, the number 2 company in the first 10 years alone, XANGO did over $100 million earners. The second closest company did 18. We are more than 5 times as good as the second best company in this industry at producing $1 million earners. But more exciting than that is the 170,000 people that are earning $1,000 a month or more, and the 250,000 people that are earning $500 a month or more. In XANGO, it's not about the rich and poor and the few and far between. So every company's got some number 1, number 2 dogs. But I'll tell you what, you take the first 100, the first 1,000 compared to any other company in this industry, will beat them hands down. So we have 2 trips a year you can qualify for the moment you sign your distributor application. The next one's in February. We're still on the qualification for that. In this room right here, right now, how many people, raise your hand if you're already qualified for the trip to Mexico? We've already got, and some of them must have stepped into the garage because there's more than that. How many of you are going to go to Mexico, just haven't quite got there yet? Several more hands in the room that have lots of points. Thank you very much. And all you have to do to qualify for points to get on this trip is sponsor customers and distributors. That's it. XANGO rewards you for sharing our products with other people. So the goal isn't about more money. The goal is living a life on your own terms. And if you grab a hold of the opportunity, there's a lot of people like myself and the Tom Carroll Ferry in the room that have earned more than $1 million in the company. But we want to work with you, the next generation. We want to pass the torch to you. So all you have to do to be successful is pick up the torch and run. So that is the opportunity portion. Now we're going to go into some product, and we are going to hear about this incredible product line from Dr. Templeman. I have known him for 30 years, still practicing when he first heard about this mangosteen fruit, but ended up spending and devoting his life to the discovery of this. He goes to Thailand, but you're there like 6 months out of the year. And I'll let him tell you a little bit more about that, but he's learned some incredible things, and he has such a way of sharing the things with us about the mangosteen fruit, which is a key ingredient and very important part of our product line. So please welcome Dr. Fred Templaman.
Just a couple of words first about why a doctor, a physician, trained in a regular medical school, because I would be interested in spending time talking to people about supplements. First of all, the enemies are your lifestyle, frankly. If you look at the face of a person who is a smoker, they appear 1 decade over by the time they're 30. Just by the time they're 30, they appear to be about 37 or 38. And if you're 40, you appear to be 50. Smoking by itself, alone, is going to age you at approximately twice, as far as your skin is concerned, at twice the rate. Now, if you work out on a farm and are exposed to the sun all of the time, your face looks about 10 years older than your chronological age because you're exposed to it. And if you're not protecting yourself, then you have big problems. And know also that, and you've heard of people who have to have their lens removed because they've got cataracts. That is due absolutely to sun exposure. There's virtually nothing to cataracts. So living in a world where the sun is important to us, eating the foods we eat, having the bad habits that we have, is largely responsible for how rapidly we age. And like I told you, that process starts in the late 20s, and then it's downhill from there. So gravity is the other factor that affects the aging of the skin. I have a lot of grandkids. I've got 35 of them. One was born 2 days ago. But yeah.
Wow.
Well, I had 10 kids.
Wow.
I didn't have 10 kids. My wife had 10 kids. So I had one of the 5-year-olds with me not too long ago, and we were going through a photo album, and he looked at pictures of my graduation from medical school. And I wasn't young. I graduated from medical school at age 40. I didn't go to medical school until I was 36. I had another career too, actually. So when he looked at the picture of me, and then he said, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's me." And he looked at the picture, and then he looked at me like a 5-year-old would, and he said, "That's not you." Look at the nose. Doesn't the nose look the same? And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "But it doesn't look like you, Grandpa." And I said, "Well, I was younger then. And look at how my face has changed." And you know what he did? He touched my face, and then he grabbed the wattle. And he went like this. And he pronounced very solemnly, looking at the picture and then looking at me, "Grandpa, you're melting." And that image stuck with me because, in fact, that's just about what happens with our face as we age. The structures that give it form and that make it firm are under the effect of lifestyle, under the effect of the environment, toxins. It is breaking down. And as it breaks down, gravity takes over. When you remove the structure that is there to keep your face nice and smooth, and if you take a child's hand, for example, and you pinch a baby's hand, you can't even see 1 second after. That's why people like to pinch babies, I think, because it just snaps right back into position. But if you're over 40 and you pinch your hand and hold it for just a moment, uh-oh, the wrinkle's still there. It doesn't go away. Why? The subcutaneous support and the collagen that gives your body and your skin its texture and its firmness have degenerated to the point where it cannot do what it used to do. And we lose about 1% of the collagen in our total body, but certainly from our face, per year after we are 30. That's why, not surprisingly, we see the effects of gravity in the face. Now, let's take a look at what we're talking about. We're talking largely about something called collagen. Collagen is a protein, and it's made up of building blocks called amino acids, which are extracted from the food that we eat or from the supplements that we may be taking. The collagen is, or could be compared to a pearl. Take 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, but a small number, relatively speaking, of these amino acids and place them together, you get what is called a peptide. And you'll notice later on that we're talking about peptides in the product. So the peptide is a group of amino acids on its way to becoming a pearl necklace. And so there's the amino acid, the peptide, and collagen is a protein, the most abundant protein in your body. There are 16 different types, but over 75% of it is type 1 collagen. And that's the type that is in skin, bones, muscles, and sinews primarily. And so that's the one that if you're going to supplement and make up for 2 things that are happening, one, your GI tract is no longer as efficient at taking out the amino acids from food as it was before, and so you can't really go and change the GI tract, so you have to produce more and put more in so that there is more presented to the gut, and the gut will take the percentage that it can across. That's how you make up for a deficit. The second way you may make up for a deficit is to take elements that are in collagen and put them in a carrier that is going to go through the skin and put them directly on the skin where a difference would be made. So how does the collagen support the body? Well, there's an image that shows you that collagen is made up of 3 chains, 2 which are exactly the same strands of amino acids wraps around it. So in a way, you can look at the collagen as if it were, whoops, sorry, this is my dog. But if the collagen were like a twisted steel cable that holds a bridge, fibrils marked across. And we know that when you look at the tensile strength of collagen, it's stronger than steel. It's stronger than steel, but it still breaks down in our body. And we sag as a result. And we don't feel as good because our muscle mass is disappearing at about the same rate. And these are processes over which we have far more control than you normally think that you would. You can do stuff about this. Now, a tendon, that's my daughter, by the way. She's stronger than I am. She runs 10 miles a day in the mountains. And she tells me she's going to live to be 120. And her husband says, well, you'll have to get somebody to change your Pampers because I'm not going to. But the tendon is made up of these fibrils of collagen. So they're in muscle, they're in tendon, and they are in the structure of the face. It's almost like rebar. You can build a concrete building with concrete, but concrete by itself is brittle. It will not take load stresses the same way that if you put something more flexible inside and stronger, then you can have a structure which will bear weight and which will be able to resist the kinds of things that can happen to buildings because it is more flexible and it has something stronger within it. Collagen is skin. There are 7 layers of epidermis if you want to get into the details of it. Then underneath it, you have what is called the cutaneous levels that go all the way down. This is, you can see the blood vessels down below. Now all of this stuff in here is called ground substance. It's fat, largely. Now, take out the structures, supporting structures for the fat, and what do you think it's going to do? It's going to puddle, it's going to melt. And that's what's happening. So we go at the business of making a difference not only in the top layers of skin, but in the dermis and down in the hypodermis by supplying systemically the elements, the amino acids that are required to rebuild type 1 collagen. Let's take a look no, we don't, that's David, he's too. Okay. What happens to collagen as we age? Take a look. You can see. See the difference? The guy needs his teeth cap. Okay, now here's the products, and we're going to look at them individually. This was the worst patient that we ever had. We thought if anybody needed a makeover, it was this guy. And after 2 weeks, he looked like
That's
and this one's next after 4 weeks. As the clock turned back. We can't really turn the clock back, but we can. We can make a difference. And here's a question. Why do I care about a clean skincare product? Well, because the toxins in the bad skincare products, for which you pay more money, are really very, very dangerous. Even though they give you good things, you always have that little underlying, I guess I should stay on the screen, shouldn't I? So you have that underlying monotone voice telling you about all the potential things that are bad. So it makes a difference how the product is made. Why marine collagen and absorption, okay? We're mammals. We can get collagen from calves. We can get collagen that's bovine sourced. We can get collagen from pigs, porcine, or we can get collagen from chickens. But unfortunately, we can also get viruses and other very, very small organisms that constitute the beginnings of diseases from the same sorts of animals. But we don't share any real diseases with fish. And that's why marine collagen. And we're not talking here about taking mollusks and shrimp and things like that, which are highly allergenic and which a lot of people are allergic to. We're talking about taking the skin from fish. Now, has anybody ever skinned a fish or filleted a fish? Sure. Think of how tough that skin is. It is not easy. Think of a catfish. You can take a catfish skin. Well, they make shoes out of fish skin. They make purses out of fish skin. So it really is nothing except protein. And it has all the proteins that we have in our type 1 collagen. All of them, identical. And really, type 1 collagen is quite different than a lot of the other proteins in the body, which are globular. But I'm not old like Dr. Templaman. This is David Morgan said. Why should I worry about it? And the fact is that if you've still got a face that you can smile at in the mirror and not have a little bit of a shock effect, then you want to keep it that way as long as you can. And prevention matters. If you took a look at Beverly Hollister, who is one of the founders of the company, Beverly, I won't tell you her age, I know it, but I won't tell you her age. But Beverly virtually has no wrinkles on her face at all. She's from southern Alabama. And so she's been exposed by having the sun in her environment for years. But I don't think the sun has ever gone on her face, ever, ever. Because she knew very, very early the dangers of that kind of thing. And so she made a difference. You would therefore not be able to look at her and guess her chronological age, because her face has not aged like mine or like most people's. And you can't go back and redo that, but you certainly, if you're younger, can prevent the changes that are going to take place. Now, this is Templeman, that's not, but it's an anagram for antioxidant, micronutrients, and peptides. Let's take a look at them. Here are the ingredients. And I'm not going to go lecture where I actually go through and talk about all these things and why they are in the product. But notice there's nothing in there which is bad, okay? They're all things that if you look at it, you'd say, wow, that's good. You might not recognize astragalus, but astragalus is one of the elements from nature that has great impact on the anti-aging at the level of the mitochondria, the little subcellular organelles that produce all of the energy for our body. That makes a big difference. Then you start looking at micronutrients. Now, micronutrients, the macronutrients are fat, protein, and carbohydrate. Fat is essentially a means of storing energy and making padding. Essentially, that's what it is. Carbohydrate is pretty much only energy. And protein is the structural stuff and the messenger stuff and a lot more. So if you looked at those three and figured they're all essential, but if you looked at them, because we need a lot of them every day, they're called macronutrients. And micronutrients are things that we do not require that much of. So vitamins and minerals and different things like that are factors. And they're involved in metabolism, not as an actual structural thing in the metabolism, but it makes the metabolism go faster. It's a catalyst which speeds up the rate of reaction when you're looking at metabolic processes. And so therefore, essential if you're going to be doing anything to change the speed of reaction in your skin and build what you need to build, peptides. We showed you what a peptide was. This is peptides, and those are two other things that are in there that are signaling molecules, and I'll explain what I mean by that in just a minute. So what does AMP do? Well, it makes a difference in fine lines and wrinkles. You can take a look at that and you can see that it's real. And the one thing to always look for is there somebody tricking the photography? So look at the light. See if the light is being cast in pretty much the same way. Look at the aperture of the eye. Is it pretty? I was looking at some of these before after pictures, and there was a what we call a vendor, somebody who was sending us in things. And David and I were looking at it, and we were looking at the eyes, and he said, wow, that's a real striking change. I said, yeah, they changed their hair color too. It was two different people. So you're not about being deceived, but take a look to see whether you've got a real. Does it look like the same eye? Is the eye in approximately the same position? Is the lighting the same? Is the magnification the same? Because those are all of the little tricks that they play with. Now, can you see a difference? Okay? Now, you might look at that and say, wow, that's really quite different. Now, I could give her exactly the same thing with Botox by paralyzing the muscles. And it isn't a simple question of squeezing or not squeezing. It's really that the muscles are paralyzed when you do Botox. Somebody asked me a question about Botox. They said, if people are doing Botox, should they also be doing this? And I would say, absolutely. Because the wrinkle doesn't disappear just because the muscle doesn't contract. That kind of ridge in the skin that needs to be repaired exists even if the skin is not contracting, simply because the muscles that would contract it have been paralyzed temporarily. So there's a before and after. It looks after something else, the under eye bags and discolorations, the things for which people go and see plastic surgeons to get what are called blepharoplastics and spend a lot of money to do that, $8,000 to $12,000 to have a brow lift and your eyes done. Really quite expensive and painful, and not always with a good outcome. Where do the bags come from? Anybody got an idea? The bags are? Well, it is part of the melting. What's happening is that your eye is sitting cushioned in the orbit by fat, held in position because it has a collagen fibrils going through it and providing a matrix in a three-dimensional form to hold that fat in place so that if you get a blow on the eye is not damaged, because the eye is not the kind of a structure that you can hit hard without damaging it. So they cushion it by putting fat, well, God, cushions it by putting fat in behind it. And over time, as the collagen disappears from there, where's it gonna go? Down. And that fat begins to leak out and comes out here, and the skin, which is nice and taut in youth, has begun to bulge outward as well. And so gravity pulls this down. Now there's discoloration. Some people actually have real dark circles. That dark circle comes from the fact that the circulation in that area of dysfunctional skin and fat is not as good as it was before. And the hemoglobin, which is the red pigment in our blood that carries the oxygen, leaks out of the capillaries and into the tissues themselves, and then the body degrades that and tries to get rid of it, but they're pigments and they hang around. Some of them are kind of bluish, some are green. They've got names, but you don't need to know what they are. And you can take a look and see that there's a change in the puffiness, but here's the color. Up those pigments and carry them away. And that's indeed what does happen with the eye complex. Now, here you can see on the left, that's the neutral one, and then you can see on the right, there's a weak solution, there's a stronger solution, and there's the stronger solution going from right to left that picks up those pigments and carries them away back into the bloodstream and removes and makes a difference in the color of those eyes. Dull, uneven texture. That's really a question of skin elasticity. There are structures in there made up of collagen and other things in them that are elastic. And that elastin breaks down. And that's what we're talking about here. It makes a difference when you build it back up. Moisturizing is part of the reason why the skin has a tenderness and a deep, not a tenderness, but a softness to it. And that same grandson who told me I was melting went to his pool this summer. And he said to me, "Whoa, look at your legs. It looks like a road map." Now, but to a greater degree, the skin overlying it disappears, and you can see them a lot easier. That's the story. Now, I want to talk to you just a little bit about, and we'll finish up in about 2 minutes. This is the mangosteen fruit. The outside portion of it is the part that is most important for nutrition. But it's the white inside that everybody eats, because the outside makes you puke. If you try and eat it, it just really makes you very, very sick. So the company XANGO was able to do something, able to take that whole fruit, mash it up, that's really all they do with it, and then mix it with essences. Now you'll see on the bottom it'll say juice, fruit juice, because you don't have a word essence in the kind of line, but it isn't a fruit juice. It's not pear juice. It's not grape or the juice of grapes. It's an essence that has been distilled down very much like essential oils to the point where if you put it on your tongue, you feel like you've just had a bushel of whatever it is that you've had. It's so strong in terms of its taste that it is mixed in to block the tongue from tasting the crappy outside of the mangosteen. So that's why those other things are there. They're not there because pear juice has a value or because grape juice has a value. They're there to make this thing taste okay. And diet, exercise, and supplementation is always important. That's what I said way back in 2002, and I still say it. You cannot expect to eat the wrong things, not to exercise, and to be able to supplement yourself to health. You can't. There is nothing that can replace exercise, and there is nothing that can replace wise choices in diet. And if you want to optimize your health, then you also need to become knowledgeable about what supplements to add to your body, what gives you value for your money to be able to help you. Now, I'm just going to show you something else. The best proof of the utility of something that comes from nature is the fact that people have been using it for centuries by the million. People are not stupid. They don't keep eating something that hurts them. And they don't keep eating and buying and paying money for something that doesn't make them feel better or doesn't do something for them. So that's the very best. When you're looking at supplements, see what the history says. Does the history say this has value? Have millions of people around the world where they can get it? Have they been using it? And have they been using it for a long time? That's better than any science. But we live in a world that adores science. And so if you're going to look for that, then the second thing you look for is, are the scientists also interested in this? Because, for example, the goji berry, over the period of time that I'm going to be talking to you about the studies on the mangosteen, the goji berry had 38 studies. The noni fruit had 128 studies. So 128 groups of people who were PhDs or MDs looked at the goji berry because people said, hey, I've been taking something with goji berry in it, and it makes me feel this or that, and that's better. So they were looking for it. Why are the scientists looking for it? Are they really interested in our health? Hell no. They want to find the active ingredient to make into a drug, because then their university cleans up and they get to be involved in the patent and the things that get done down the road. So the motivation to do all of the studies that get done on natural products is always to try and find the actives that we can either synthesize and make into something as an active in a drug so that we can get a lot of money. But they don't follow blind alleys. And if they don't find the things they're looking for, they don't continue to spend their time and their money doing this. Now, of the studies I'm going to show you, only one was paid on, a randomized controlled double-blind trial, which happens to be the best kind of evidence as far as modern science is concerned. And the company did it because nobody was going to do it if they didn't do it. So they did one. Now there are 5 or 6 of them, but they're very rare. Well, let's take a look at the other kinds of studies. Now, this is the number of publications in medical journals. In 1980 to 1989, there were just a very few. Didn't even make it to 20, really, in that period of time. From 1990 to 1999, a little bit more. But something happened in 2002, and you see that doubled. Now look what happens in the next years. First of all, that was the year 2002 that was formed. XANGO is responsible for all of this research, even though they didn't pay for only one study. 2005 to 2008, wow, quadruples. Now look what happens. 2009 to 2013, quadruples again. Why? Because the scientists are doing the studies, and the thing that they were hoping they were going to see at the end of their study, they find it. Why are there only 38 papers in the same period of time on the Golgi berry on PubMed? Because they thought they were going to see something good, and they didn't find it. And so you don't keep running down blind alleys. The noni fruit has a wonderful element in it, only it stays around for only nanoseconds. It's difficult to be able to get the kind of interest because they're never going to be able to make a drug from it. Now, will they be able to make a drug from the mangosteen? Absolutely. The Japanese have already done it. It's called panaxanthin. It costs $400 a month. It's an anti-inflammatory element because one of the things that the mangosteen does best is it's the strongest natural anti-inflammatory that exists out there. And that's about the same strength as your ibuprofen in terms of what I have seen over the years as the effect. So, is it strong? Yes, absolutely. Does anybody get stomach ulcers from it? No. Do they have kidney failure because of it? No. Do they have liver failure because of it? No. Can they use it every day in large amounts and get relief from pain? Very often. So, 2015, there we go. There are now over 600 papers that are on the mangosteen and its extracts. This is not on XANGO. These are on the things that are in the product because it is nothing except a complete rendering of the natural product. It is a natural product imitation. This is an antifungal that cranberries, for example, elaborate to keep themselves safe from funguses. If you ate a small handful of cranberries, you get a lot more of this natural preservative than if you drank a whole bottle of the product. So I'm satisfied that it is safe. So this is what you can expect. First of all, compare the rebuilding that you might want to do around your eyes to a 5th floor walk-up in a very classy area in New York. They still exist. These are buildings without elevators. They have a big stairwell in them. And you're going up there and you bought this $2 million apartment, and now you're going to rip out the lath and the plaster and the things that you don't want from 100 years ago. And you're going to refurbish the whole thing the way you want it. Where are the elements going to come from that you will be using to put up the wallboard and do whatever you're going to use? They're going to come in and they're going to go up 5 floors and they're going to come to the top. So that's the supply of amino acids and other elements. For example, well, we won't go into the other elements, we don't have time. But that's the stuff that comes in through the mouth, goes to the gut, and then you attract the body's attention to the eyes. You do that with signaling molecules. It's like the foreman leaning over the top of the stairwell and saying, hey guys, where you're supposed to go. Because the aging process, the body looks after things that go wrong with it. like that. As soon as something goes, you drive a little splinter into your finger, and within seconds, the white blood cells are testing, getting ready, calling out the reinforcements to make sure that you don't pick up an infection from that. But when your eyes, over years, begin to be damaged, and I'm talking about the skin around your eyes, the body doesn't notice this. It happens so slowly that the repair process is not going on. And so you need some signaling molecules which are in the complex that say, hey, there's something going wrong with the eyes. And we don't have stem cells in this product, but the body has stem cells and they're circulating all the time. And where do they get off? From the circulatory system. They get off wherever there's a problem. And so if you can signal and say, hey, this is the construction site. This is where we want all those things that you just swallowed. We want those amino acids here. We want the different things that are required for structural repair. We want them here. We want them now. That's the gel, the thing that makes the difference in a matter of minutes. That's cosmetic. It's not going to make the big difference. The big difference is going to come over time when you start to call the elements that you take in through the mouth and the things that will go through the skin into the construction site around the eyes. Thank you.